Welcome back to CAS 133 Basic Computer Skills Microsoft Office, Columbia Gorge Community College, The Dalles, Oregon. Linda Hughitt, instructor. This week we're going to be taking a tour basically of the week 1 information. Now there is some information about your progress up here, showing some information about the little boxes that are set up for you. So you can always check on that. Some things up here that you will be using as we go through, and we'll go back up to those a little later in the week. But right now we're going to go to the beginning of the week. You'll see the start and end dates. The end date is actually the Sunday of the week that your work was due the night before of. Should tell you the week. The additional support materials are right here. These are here to help you with something that you may not know how to do that we ask you to do. For example, you have to zip a file during week 1. If you've never zipped a file before, you haven't taken a class that's taught you how, you don't know how to do that, there's some information on how to zip a folder. There's sound with the PowerPoints that are in here in Moodle. You need to be listening to them. They're not just a reading of the slide. They are the lecture for the class, often containing some of the directions that you'll need to follow to get full credit. So here's information on how to do that and how to upload a file to Moodle, which you'll need to be doing this week as well. So these are support files. Then you come down here to instructional materials that you need to view. These are required. They have the little check mark boxes here for you. It's in red the first week. After this, it'll go back to being in blue. Start here brings you in, obviously, to this video that you will be watching, which is the new updated one of what we're doing. Instructional materials, everybody needs to view. The computer basics is for everybody in the class. However, some of the others, you will make some decisions based on your equipment. This is for Paint if you're using a Windows 7 machine. This is for Paint if you're using Vista or XP machines. This is just some tools about Windows 7 information that if you have a Windows 7 machine, it would be nice to know about. So there you go. That's kind of a freebie. WordPad for Windows 7, WordPad for XP and Vista. Now, if you're sitting there going, but I have Windows 8, you were not forgotten. Here's WordPad for Windows 8 and Paint for Windows 8. Now, you'll notice over here that this is a checkbox that you add and you take away from. What happens on the required items, because everybody has to open these, those are automatic checkboxes after you have opened them. For these, after you've viewed them, if you are a Windows 8 user, you can mark them off on your own. You come down to the goals. Talks about what we'll be working on this week. And then, of course, your direction summary. Now, some people think, oh, well, I can get by with just reading that. I don't need to do anything else. That'll have all the directions in it. Wrong. It is a summary. In other words, it hits the highlights. It doesn't have the details, the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of what you need to do. You're going to be finding those in your instructional materials and or your textbook, depending on the week. But you do need to look at this, and it is a great reminder of things just to help make sure you caught everything as it went through and you didn't miss something. You have a performance test to take this week. When you're done with the other assignments, the directions for it are located right there. You can open it up, follow them step by step. If you read it carefully, you should be able to do a very nice job of this. Students that don't read it carefully often end up getting a 50% or less on it and having to redo it. Or if they miss the window for redoing, keeping that 50%. You can print this if you find that would be helpful. This is where you do your uploads. So if I was going to upload my assignment here, I've already uploaded it once, which means that maybe I found a mistake or I did something wrong or it's not quite done and I want to go back and fix that. I can upload it again. You are not locked out of uploading, although that can be done with Moodle. And in any class, you need to know whether that is the case or not. In this class, it's not. We are a beginning computer class, which means we're probably going to have boo-boos we have to fix and go back and look at. So I'll allow multiple uploads. So your assignment maybe was here. You're going to hit edit your assignment. Going to find it. I usually go ahead and hit right here and delete my old one. And then I grab my new one, drag it over and drop and hit save changes. That's how I typically do it. That way you're not submitting 2 files. Now, if you were going to be submitting a file that you've not uploaded before, you would come in here. You would open up the Paint project And let's say this is your paint that you want to upload. Oops, it's overdue, but you would have the edit submission button here, and you could drag it and drop it. All those dates will be updated as we go so that they'll be ready for you for the term. But if you go in to load something that's late, like 2 weeks plus late, this is what you'll find is it's overdue by that, and that box has gone away. That means it's been closed. That means you can no longer turn that work in. You waited too long. If it was because of one of those major life types of things, and we're talking like multiple day hospital admissions, we're talking like life-threatening, we're talking like major car accidents, major injuries, deaths. I mean, we're talking major things. We're not talking, well, I got a little behind. Then you would be contacting me per late work policy to see if you can recover from that. The forum, you're going to add a new discussion. You're going to put your title into it. And then you're going to write your answer. When you write your answer, it needs to be at least 100 words long. In other words, a substantial written piece. You may want to write it in Word and copy and paste it in here. That is fine. Then you have a choice of getting the email copies sent to you or not. And here's kind of the decision you have to make as the student. If you get the email sent to you, you can sort of monitor the conversation, open them as you go, read them. You're staying up to date, you're staying caught up, you're not having to go chase them down, and when you find one you want to reply to, you can go in and reply. Usually, in fact, there's a little button that says see post in context or something like that, those general words, and you can click on it, log in, it'll take you right there to do your reply. Very, very simple. But it does mean you're getting a pile of emails coming in that you're supposed to be reading. If not, and you choose not to have it sent to you, then you need to be logging into Moodle and you need to be reading those on a regular basis. That is an expectation of the class. It's hard to have a discussion if somebody is not participating. And then you do the post to your forum. When you post it to your forum, my very thoughtful 100-word reply, not so much. Then you'll go find somebody else that started one of these. It won't be yours. It'll be someone else's. You'll go in and you'll read it and you will do a reply to it. It's going to be in the 50-word category. It's not going to be something like, hey man, good idea, like it. No, not acceptable. It needs to be a thoughtful, well-written out conversation. And then you're going to post it to the forum. Again, you may want to do that in Word. You do have a few minutes to go back and edit it. If you decide that you could not spell that day, you can go back and fix it. So that basically walks you what you need to do each week. The only thing that you may find on some weeks is there may be a download. Here, there are materials that you're going to need for completing some of the projects, and those will be supplied in Moodle. Your book will say you have to go to the website, hunt them down, find them. Yeah, that's a lot of work, and it's not necessarily an easy website to navigate. So I do supply them for you. They will be in Moodle. If you're going to do the extra credit, you will notice that I do supply the extra credit picture files as far as just mostly a link to send you to it. It is not so much going to be the exact files like I do for the projects that you are required to do. This is more a directions piece. Hopefully that helps you for this week. One last thing as we're finishing up here. You can go up to assignments. When you go to assignments, it will tell you what assignments are available to you for that week. It'll tell you whether it has been submitted for grading. In other words, did you turn it in or miss it? If you missed it, it'll say no submission, which means you've not turned it in. Something went wrong or you forgot. When I've graded it, the grades will show up here. Remember, when I'm finished grading for each week, you will get an email or you will see it in the Moodle forum, instructors forum, that says week 1 grading is done, week 2 grading is done. That's your hint to go back in, look at the feedback, do any corrections. If you have a D or an F on one of your assignments, that means 13 and below, you need to go back and redo it. You have that window of the second week to complete it in before the link closes. If the link is closed, your work was late possibly and it didn't get graded till the second week, or you just didn't get around to looking and the link is closed, then it's too late to do corrections. You keep the grade as it stands. If you have any questions, please let me know.